Welcome to Put a Word on It, a podcast presented by Men of Valor. In each episode, we're going to talk with a different man, but each one with a unique journey from brokenness to freedom. I'm your host, Rudy Kalis. I spent over 40 years as a TV sportscaster, then retired and joined the Men of Valor program as a volunteer. So join the conversation. Reconciling men to God, their families, and society. Welcome to another edition of Put a Word on It, brought to you by Fourth Purpose, and we are in Knoxville, Tennessee. This is Valor Way. This is the new home of Men of Valor here in Knoxville, Tennessee. And this used to be an historic building. It was the first African-American owned, operated motel in this area here in Knoxville. I mean, people like Stevie Wonder stayed here. That's the name of it. It was called Dogan Gaither Flats. Again, Stevie Wonder, James Brown stayed here, and now renovated, brand new. It's the home of Men of Valor here. AC, this is an amazing facility. You know, what all went into it and what do you got going here? This is just wonderful.
Well, I'm confident that the Lord had already prepared a place for us. Although we got here and this place was condemned, it's been restored to a new place of restoration. It had a lot to do with the community, also Josh Smith and the Fourth Purpose Foundation. And just a lot of people that he used to rebuild this place. I truly believe it's built on the rock.
But you're starting to build now. You're starting to get some fellas to come into this place. How do you, what's the structure? What do you have them do?
Well, we replicated everything that we have in Antioch. We do our Bible studies during the day, and after 30 days, they go to work on the 31st day, and then they start their Bible studies and things like that in the evening times. So it's a lot like what we have done in Antioch. And so we're just moving right along and trusting God in the process.
Yeah. Were you at all nervous how this would work, how well you'd be accepted in the community?
Yeah, there was some nervousness involved in it, specifically for me. When God calls you to something greater than yourself, you're going to be nervous, even though you're trusting Him and walking by faith. The practical side of it is there was a lot of nervousness on how we would be received in the community. Will we be welcomed? Will we be supported? And it was fantastic. It was way beyond what we anticipated or expected.
Why? Why do you think that it worked out that well?
To be honest with you, Rudy, I just believe that we're planted right where God would have us to be planted. I believe He expanded this ministry down here because this place, the community desired a facility like ours to help this community. And so we are really excited that we was asked to come down and start this ministry. God has brought Men of Valor a long way. And now I'm really confident that He will do what He promised to do down here in Knoxville.
You've got the same disciplines, the same requirements on the men. They've got to toe the line and be able to show themselves to be faithful, right?
Absolutely. They do have to toe the line and show themselves to be faithful. But when a man arrives, Rudy, we really want a man to experience the love of Christ here. We really want a man to feel welcome and supported and valued. It's important for men that's coming out of incarceration to feel the love of Christ, to know the love of Christ, to experience the love of Christ. And I'm excited to be a part of being that experience for these guys.
Are you getting men that are from this area? Originally from this area in Knoxville, that you're getting into the program here?
We will be getting men from East Tennessee, but we'll also be getting men from Tennessee overall.
Oh, really?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I thought it might make it a little easier for some of the guys that were from this area to make that transition.
It is, in a sense. The guys from East Tennessee that have family here, more than likely, they're going to opt out and circle the box that says Knoxville. But it's not mandated that they come here. Nashville will still be an option for them as well.
Give me your role, specifically what you try to do each day.
As the program director here in Knoxville, I just really, my focus right now is really helping the team get acclimated to a new community, be trained up to serve these men. We're here to fulfill the Great Commission. That's our total objective. And we want to love these men. So as we go day by day, I sit in a lot of the training. I spend a lot of time with the staff and with the men that we have so far, just to let them know that they are supported and that we are going to do everything we can to continue to support them.
What kind of reaction you get? You've only got a few men, but they walk in here after what they've been through in incarceration, and you show them these facilities. What kind of reactions you get?
Well, actually, we had a man arrive and he said something that kind of was profound to me. You know, he said that he had been procrastinating and giving his life to the Lord and serving the Lord. And he said about 5 years ago is when he did give his life to the Lord. And so when he arrived here, he said, Lord, I might have been late, but I'm really on time. So I thought that was pretty good.
That really is.
Yeah.
But you know, that's also your life. I've known you now for some time. And when you think back to the guy that spent his time in incarceration, did you ever visualize that God would have this kind of a role for you?
Absolutely not, Rudy. This is way more than I possibly could imagine that God would do in my life. I'm just humbled by it. I really am. That I will be called to something. I must use the word great, but it's not because of anything great about me, but the mission that God has set for this ministry, for me to be a part of an expansion down here in Knoxville, it means the world to me. It means, you know, that God feels that I'm trustworthy. This ministry feels that I'm trustworthy. And it's not me at all. It's God working through me.
But you've learned all of this, everything you've gone through is kind of giving you the background and kind of giving you the cred to be able to handle these guys, right?
Yeah, now that I look back, Rudy, the things that happened to me in my past has actually turned out for the furtherance of the gospel. What the devil meant for evil, God meant for good. You know, my dark days have really turned out to be, God has changed and shifted and molded all that stuff that was old into something new. And it really has helped me really walk in this role in a natural way, in a gifted way where God has gifted me to be a part of what he's doing here in Knoxville.
I know it's in your life, but it seems to me consistency is just so key, and probably especially to these men. They want to know if you're going to be the real deal or all the time for them to buy into you.
That's so true. Consistency has been something that we've been talking about as a staff in all of our staff meetings here lately. We want to be in alignment with not the guidelines of the ministry, but what God has called us to do. And we want to be consistent in that so these men can learn to trust us and believe in what God is doing. You know, we kind of feel like we want these men to know that we are transparent. We will be vulnerable with you, but it's God that's doing all the work. We're just here to walk alongside these men and to be consistent in whatever way we can.
Well, we talked a couple of years ago and asked you to put a word on it at that time. Has that word changed since you've moved here to Knoxville?
Yes, it's two words, really. I think I'm going to choose the word restoration today. Seeing this building in its initial state, condemned by the eyes of the world, and now seeing the new look, ashes turn to beauty, is really identifies with God's transforming power, how he can restore, redeem. And so my word will be restoration. The scripture that I will put on it, it doesn't feel like it's a restoration scripture, but it actually is. It says, it's Matthew 11:28. It says, "Come to me, all you who are weary and heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for you will find rest for your souls." To me, that's restoration, because it's been a long journey, but God is faithful. He's sovereign, he's almighty, and he's all powerful. And I'm glad to be a part of what he's doing through Men of Valor.
I love what AC said, restoration. That just means the world to him, and it does to me as well. Think of the restoration of this facility. This was that wonderful African-American hotel from who knows way back when. Restoration has made it a place of life for the men of Valor. Beautiful word, restoration. Just love it and love the AC. Thanks for joining us. Join us again next time as we put a word on it.